Dr. Quraishi, you're hearing the Congress and the BJP. We're in the middle of a poll season, but you've been Chief Election Commissioner. If a political party in the middle of a global pandemic were to say that we will make the vaccine available free, is that okay? Health is indeed a state subject, and yes, a certain part of the money may have to be paid by the state, and therefore we're saying we will take this burden. Our voters will not have to do so. Is that a fair promise to make, or is it morally bankrupt or unethical? What's your view, sir?
You know, Rahul, there are 2-3 dimensions to it. If it was a promise, a poll promise outside the manifesto, it would definitely have been problematic. It would have been rejected because it was designed to seduce voters, which is not allowed. Now, BJP has been smart that they have made it a part of the manifesto. Manifesto promises cannot be questioned. So technically, legally, they are within the ambit of law. However, I would like to remind you that the model code of conduct of election is not a law in itself. It's a basis, foundation is entirely ethical. It is a self-created code of conduct by political parties years ago. Therefore, ethically speaking, this amounts to a poll promise, in which case it becomes objectionable. Now, secondly, we used to get such proposal from the government. For instance, once a proposal came about increase in the MSP of agricultural produce. So immediately we said, look, in the middle of the election, you are going to make this promise. If it is good for the country, we will surely allow it. But please tell us in the last 10 years, what is the date on which you have been announcing it? We realized that they were announcing it 2 months and 3 months later, and only because of the Punjab announcing it. So announcement can wait. It must wait. Now, what is the supreme urgency that within this week we can see that the vaccine is not coming now? This kind of announcement certainly becomes suspect, ethically suspect, that in 1 week there is no vaccine. Now, another question will be, suppose there is a vaccine after 2 months, having made this announcement for Bihar voters, will this announcement be extendable to the entire country then? You can't have 2 yardsticks because the election going state.
Okay, Sanju Verma, the former Chief Election Commissioner, saying the decision is ethically suspect. It's not illegal, but it is immoral. The vaccine isn't coming out next week. The government hasn't at this time announced how much of the burden will be borne by the centre, how much will be borne by the states, and yet you've gone out and made this announcement. Respond to Mr. Quraishi, who calls this ethically suspect and immoral.
You know, I have tremendous respect for Mr. Quraishi. Be that as it may, I beg to differ with him very politely, because the fact of the matter is that ethics is something which is very subjective. Let's look at hard facts, and the hard facts say that constitutionally we are absolutely legally in a domain which cannot be questioned. Point number 1. Point number 2, second point is, has this been the convention? Of course, this is the first global pandemic to strike the world and affect almost everybody in 102 years. But the fact of the matter is that giving SOPs is something that has been a part of the election manifesto of many parties. I don't know if Mr. Quraishi was there when the Telangana Assembly polls were held and the Congress was blatantly indulging in the politics of opportunism and appeasement. Point number 3, as you rightly said, Rahul, we have not said that we will not give the vaccine at a nominal cost to other states, BJP ruled or otherwise. All we are saying is we will provide it at a nominal cost. Then let the BJP state leadership take the call to give it free or otherwise. And the BJP leadership in this case has unequivocally and overwhelmingly said it in the public domain that we will provide it for free.